and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm putting together this scrapbook layout. I'm kind of giving you a peek here at the beginning of how I'm going to lay everything out, but don't have anything glued down yet, so I'm going to start taking my flowers here. These are flowers by Petaloo, and I'm taking some of my Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and this is vintage brass. It's kind of just a light brass color, and it's got some gold shimmer in it, and I'm going to be misting my flowers with this. I just went ahead and I shook it up to get all of the glitter inside there moving, and then I'm spraying it over on my flowers. I didn't want them to be super bright, but I did want them to have a little bit of color. And I'm also going to be using some orange here in a minute, and painting on some orange too, because I think the orange will really bring out some of the orange that are in the pictures that I'm using for my layout. So here's my orange. It's called It's Orange. It's just a pretty basic orange mist, and so I'm actually going to be painting on this orange color instead of spraying it. So I'm looking for a paintbrush right now. I have this bad habit of not cleaning off my paintbrushes, so every time I go to reach for one, it's all crusty and kind of dirty, so I always have to look for a clean one. But anyway, so I'm just taking off the top of my spray nozzle, and I'm just going to dip in my paintbrush to grab a little bit of that color and then paint it on in the centers. And I'm going to do this with each of the flowers, just adding a little bit of color in the center and then brushing it out a little bit to the tips. So after I got all of my flowers painted, I went ahead and I dried them with my heat tool, and I'm gathering them up here, and I'm going to set them aside to let them dry a little bit more while I work on some of my other pieces for my scrapbook layout. So I kind of already went ahead and figured out how I want it to look. If I were to do it all on camera, I'd have a very long video that I doubt anyone will want to sit through. So a lot of times when I do my layouts, I go ahead and I map it all out first and decide what I want to do, and then when I'm actually putting it together, I'll turn on the camera. So for the base of my layout, I just have this ivory piece of cardstock, and I'm just going to put some ink splatters on the background. So I'm using Tattered Leather Glimmer Mist. I really like this color. It's a nice brown, and it's got some gold shimmer in it, and I just find myself using it a lot, so this is one of my favorite colors so far. I'm just adding some splatters here and there with the end of that spray nozzle, just kind of tapping it onto the paper. And I'm also going to use some of that vintage brass as well. This is the color I also used on the flowers, so I thought it would just tie in well with the colors that I'm using, help it all coordinate. And I'm just adding some splatters over the tattered leather. So I went ahead and I dried those paint splatters, and now I'm bringing in some of my background papers. I have a piece of craft here, and I also have a piece of this navy polka dot on ivory, and these are from Canvas Corp. These are Canvas Corp papers that I'm using. So I'm kind of just mapping out how I want them to go, and before I cut this polka dot paper, I didn't think about it until later, but I could have just cut strips out to go behind and saved myself a lot of my paper. So I'm going to go ahead and I just mark off where I'm going to cut that navy polka dot paper now, so that since you're not going to see behind it anyway, I thought I'd just save all of that paper and be able to use it on another project instead of gluing it behind the craft cardstock and then kind of wasting it. So I'm just cutting out a strip of the corner to adhere down, since that's all you're really going to be seeing peeking out anyway. So now you can see I just saved that huge chunk of polka dot paper to use later. So now I'm just going to line up those papers and see where I want to adhere them I'm grabbing my Tombow permanent adhesive, and this is a pretty sticky tape runner adhesive. I've been using it a lot, so later on in the video I actually run out of it, but for most of my adhesives and my tape runner, that's what I'm using in this video. So I'm just sticking that polka dot paper down, and then I'm going to put my craft cardstock panel on top of it. I am being pretty generous with the adhesive because I'm going to be layering lots of different embellishments on the top, so I want to make sure it stays down. And you can see I already have some of them chipboard letter stickers on there that spells out my son's name, and they're kind of moving around, so I'll just have to put those back in place. So I realized that I had another strip of paper that I wanted to put onto this craft panel, so I had to take it up off of the background to get that on there. This is just a little strip of ivory paper that I cut off, and then I cut little fringes on the side, so it's a little fringed strip of paper. I was thinking about going ahead and sewing it on the edge, and I think that would look really cute, but I decided to go ahead and do it the quick way and just use a stapler. I like the stapled look as well, and it's quick and it's easy, and I don't have to pull out my sewing machine, even though I really love the sewed look. Sometimes when I'm doing scrapbook layouts or cards or something, I'm kind of trying to work quickly because I usually do it during my son's nap time. So if I want to get it in, get it done while he's napping, I kind of sometimes go for the faster way to do it. So now I'm just putting that craft panel back down in place where it's supposed to go, now that I have the little fringed strip of paper stapled on the side. Just kind of lining it up and pushing it down. And now I'm bringing in some little pieces. These are like scrap pieces of burlap that I've had in my stash, and they're from Canvas Corp as well. And I just wanted to put them behind my photos to add a little bit of texture. And I just really love the look of burlap on almost anything. So I wanted to bring some of that in. And I'm laying them down, and I'm kind of arranging my pictures to make sure I have the placement right of everything before I go ahead and glue them down. And to stick my burlap down, I am going to use my Tombow permanent adhesive for that as well. Sometimes liquid glue works pretty good holding fabric in place, but since I'm also going to be gluing on top of the burlap too, I thought it'd probably be fine just to use my tape runner. These pictures were actually from almost October. My son was almost 9 months there, so I tried to get some little pumpkins in his photos and just add some fall elements. So my layout looks a little fallish, but it goes with the theme of my photos. So it was kind of strange putting together a fall type layout in the beginning of summer, but I thought it really went well together, and I enjoyed all the colors I incorporated into this layout. Now for this little picture, I'm actually using some fun foam on the back of it. It's just kids craft foam. I use it sometimes to pop up some photos or embellishments for a little bit of dimension. When I need to use a lot of it, it just makes sense to use the craft foam instead of your foam adhesive because it's a lot cheaper. And in scrapbook pages, you have that even surface behind your photo. So when you put it into a book or something, it won't the photo won't warp or anything. It should just kind of stay flat. So I like the craft foam for that purpose. Now I have a little twine bow here, and I'm bringing in a tag, and I'm kind of laying them out the way I want them. And I have all these little quotes. They're stickers. I don't remember where I got them, but they're all little quotes about little boys, and I just thought they're so cute, and I wanted to add a lot of them to this layout and kind of fill up this side of my page. So they also work really well with the colors in the photos. So I'm using them on the side of the page. I'm also taking some of that burlap and having some of the burlap peek out from behind a few of the quotes. And I'm also using some craft foam, behind a few of the quotes to make them stand out as well. And I'm kind of just laying things out so I know where I want them to go, and while I'm adhering everything down. So this is where I ran out of my adhesive, so I went ahead and I switched over to my Tombow Stamp Runner dot adhesive. And this is one of my favorite adhesives anyway. It puts down a strip of sort of mini glue dots or little adhesive dots, and it's really nice for just all of your general purpose, but it also has a stamp feature that you can push down and stamp just a square of glue dots, so you can also put some really precise placement of your adhesive if that's what you're looking for. So I went ahead and I just tucked some burlap in behind this little quote, and I'm just gluing it down, and I glued down all them quotes. And I'm showing you this tag that I'm using. It's by Fancy Pants Designs. It's part of their Atwell collection, and I had a few of them left from other scrapbook pages that I've done. And I'm taking this stamp set by Seven Gypsies. It's just a bunch of numbers and some dollar signs, and there's even some barcodes in there, and it's just a really fun stamp set for creating tags and tickets and different things. So I wanted to stamp out number 9 since my son is 9 months old in this layout. So I'm just picking out which numbers I wanted to use, and I am using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink for this. It's just a really nice black, basic black ink, and I like to use it for everything basically. And I'm just going to keep this tag really simple. I'm just stamping on number 9, and then I'm going to leave it at that. So with that tag, I am putting some foam adhesive on the end of it, and then I put some of my Stamp Runner adhesive on the top, and that way the top is laying flat, and then the foam adhesive on the bottom kind of pops it up off the page just a little bit. So now I'm just adhering that down, and for my bow, I'm going to be taking my Tombow multi-liquid glue. And I really like this glue as well, and I really like the fine tip applicator because it helps you put just a small amount of glue right where you need it. And I find out make a lot less mess with this glue than some of my other liquid glues. So I'm tying this little piece of twine bow right at the top of my tag, pushing it down so it stays. And now I'm just giving you a little close-up look at the layout so far. I still have my flowers to put on yet, but I'm just helping you see some of the quotes that are going on. I'm just trimming that little fringed strip there because it's kind of overhanging off the bottom of the page. Now I'm bringing in my flowers, give you a little peek of them. They're pretty much dry now, after spraying them, and I'm just arranging them around my pictures. I did use a little bit of that orange, and I'm really glad I did because it really brings out the orange in the photos. So I always like to try to kind of highlight the colors that are in my photos if at all possible. At this point my fingers were a little bit sticky, so some of the flowers like to try to escape there. So when I arranged all my flowers, had them where I wanted them to go, I was going to use my liquid glue from Tombow again, but sometimes I get impatient waiting for my glue to dry, and I have these glue dots that I've had forever, and they're super sticky, so I decided to use them. They're also a little bit big, so I went ahead and I cut them apart and just used smaller pieces for all of the flowers. So that's how I stuck my flowers down, and it really worked well. So sometimes it's nice just to go ahead and use a glue or an adhesive that you don't have to wait for it to dry. So all my flowers are stuck down now, and that's pretty much the layout. I was going to stop there, but you'll see that I wanted to go ahead and add just a few more splatters to the bottom of that craft cardstock. I thought it was looking a little bare. I could have left it. I think it probably would have been fine, but I just wanted to add a few more splatters. So I grabbed my tattered leather, Tattered Angels Glimmer Mist, and I just like to use the end of the spray nozzle to add some splatters. I was trying to be careful not to get splatters onto my photos or anything, but it worked out pretty good. And that's all I really did. I didn't want to go too crazy, but I just wanted to add a little bit of texture down on the bottom. And then I grabbed my heat tool and I dried it up, and I grabbed a little bit of tissue and blotted away a little bit of that glimmer mist that was kind of pooling there. And that pretty much finishes up my layout. It was a really fun one to do. I really love fall, so it was kind of a way to celebrate that in the middle of summer. So thank you for watching, and if you want to look at more pictures, go ahead and head over to my blog. Bye!